everyone, I'm Dwayne. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be trying to recreate the tone from the new Linkin Park song Two-Face that just dropped. I think it's like the third or fourth single from the album From Zero, which is coming out tomorrow from when this video is being made and hopefully published. And I heard it, and if you're kind of a diehard Linkin Park fan that was into them back in the Hybrid Theory Meteora days, you'll instantly hear that it takes you straight back to that sound. It's not necessarily Hybrid Theory, it's, say it more airs on the side of Meteora. It's still got gain in there, but they kind of went more of a crunchy sort of gain direction. It's kind of like a bit of a rock tone when you actually listen to it. It's still got like, nice cleanliness to it, but it's still got a bit of grit in there as well when you kind of dive into the chords. So I thought, what better way to, honor an awesome band that was pretty much my, childhood, teenage years growing up with heavy music back when Hybrid Theory and stuff came out. And do the tone for this on the Quad Cortex. So, of course, we're going to use devices and whatnot available on the Quad Cortex. So I've listened to this song a few times, breaking this down. There's two distinct sort of parts to it. There's like a quiet little part in there at the start. And then obviously the heavier part. Listening to this, you can actually hear that maybe we might not need to necessarily tweak much. We may dial down the gain, or if we use an overdrive, we may dial that down as well, but it's largely the same tone throughout the song, which kind of keeps things simple. Another thing worth pointing out is I have active pickups in this guitar, Fishman Fluences. You don't have to have active pickups, but it will help with this sound because it definitely benefits from that kind of higher saturation and output you get from pickups. But if you don't, you can obviously tweak the gain on your amp or throw a gain block at the start of the chain, and it's going to kind of get you there as well. So we're going to dive in, and firstly, the thing that we're going to do is we're going to put the input gate control on, just to kind of give us some noise reduction in there. It's obviously got a bit of gain to it. It's not super noisy, but we definitely want to clean it up. So that's a must. Now, I don't know what amps Linkin Park are using these days. I know Mike Shinoda, when he was doing his solo stuff, I think I saw him using like Marshalls, like a JCM800 or something like that. So I'm inclined to use that on here because I'm pretty certain that Mike Shinoda is, one of the main people kind of creating these riffs and stuff like that. Obviously, not the only one. He's not the guitarist really, but I think he does have a role in the writing process. I know he did back in the early days, Meteora and Hybrid Theory and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to try using the JCM800 model in here, which is the Brit 2203. And we're going to tweak that in a minute, but we need to add a cabinet as well. I want to add in a 412. My hunch is to add in this one here that I tend to use with the JCM800. It's the 412 Marshall, and it's just by default, it sounds like this. You can actually hear, it's got that crunch sound to it. It's not that loud. I'm going to put the master up like 5 on this, but I'm actually going to compare it to the song just a little bit. So we can see that I learned to kind of play the song by looking at what he's playing here as well. I can see that he's playing it up on the single string. I'm still trying to obviously in my head work out what he plays and the timing and stuff like that. But that's kind of what I can see and hear he's playing. Who knows if he's actually playing the song in the clip. So yeah, we've got that sort of, you can hear we're kind of in the vicinity of the song already. At least in my headphones, it sounds like we are. We are going to add in an overdrive in here as well. See, here's the thing. I don't know what Brad is using on his guitar, My understanding is that he's probably like a Mesa player, or they used to be back in the early 2000s. But you can kind of fake it. And my first hunch is to use a tube screamer on here. But I kind of want to add a bit of like drive without kind of super saturating the sound, but something that complements it. So my hunch actually is to try using like this Marshall Blues Breaker overdrive here. I'm going to add a bit of tone on this. I'm going to probably go up to 6.5, maybe 7. And then the volume, I'm going to do that to about 6. Well, that sounds pretty good. Compare that to, so you can hear it when I ring out. It has thinned it out a little bit though, hasn't it? So I think we need to... Maybe not. I kind of hoped that maybe that might have been giving us what we're after, but I'm going to probably default to the tube screamer, to be honest with you. You just can't beat it, really, can you? It kind of, I feel like it's going to give us that EQ, that pre-EQ that we need. You can hear we've got a bit of crunch from the JCM800, so if we play chords. But we also haven't adjusted our amp just yet. So I'm going to actually push the gain up just to kind of give it enough crunch when the volume is fully up. I'm going to drop the bass down. So it's going to tighten the low end without being too boomy. I'm going to put the mids up to 6. That's going to enhance the presence and body. It's going to kind of give us a more full rhythm sound. Treble, we're going to put that up slightly to 6. We're going to keep the presence at 5 just to kind of balance the articulation and bite. I'm going to put the master up to 6 on here. A little bit fizzy, but that's okay. We're going to do some EQ on the sound anyway. So it's all good. I'm just going to check my input levels on here as well. Make sure we're not hitting into the red too much, or if we need to go up. You can keep it at 0. I kind of tend to tweak things for my guitars. I think from memory this was like 2 or 3. That sounds pretty good to me. What happens if I actually push the tube screamer up? I usually do this with metalcore tones. No, that's too much. We probably want that at parity level, the volume, so we don't drive the amp too hard. Still working out how to play the song, obviously, so don't hate on me. Actually sounds pretty good with that guitar on there. I feel like we need to do like a low pass filter or something on here. I don't know if we're going to do it on the cabinet of like, I don't know, 8K or something. Because we just want to focus on the higher mids and controlling the excessive highs. I can hear there's a bit of fizz and high end in there that we don't want. I'm going to ring it out. Maybe no overdrive. We need to compare to the song now because I'm kind of getting a little bit lost in my head. There's obviously some EQ to go here as well, but maybe we have too much, kind of work out what we have too much of here. It sounds a bit flat. Maybe I'm going to put the gain down to 4. That's better. That is a lot better. Maybe even 3. The tube screamer could be the reason why we need to put the gain down. So I can hear gain of 3 is going to work really well for the intro. Put the master all the way up for a second. Have a look at the output here. Yep, that sounds pretty good. I think that it's kind of got us in a better sort of place with the sound. Let's compare that now because I can hear the start. Maybe what we'll actually do. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place here, but what we're going to actually do is we're going to go clean and we're going to go rhythm. I think it definitely, you don't want to have to what do you call it? Adjust the volume knob on your guitar. I think it'd be good if we could just make it so we could knock this down. And maybe put the master down too for the clean. 6. And then we will obviously dial that back up. I think also one thing that I'm missing here as well is on here, I want that to be parity, that's good. But for the rhythm, I think one thing I'm doing is because I'm not driving. Okay, I've got 2 presets here, 2 scenes in our preset. I'm going to compare. Okay, I think that sounds pretty good. The downside is I just broke a string. So I'm going to have to switch guitars to another guitar that has different pickups. And okay, so I broke a string, but fortunately my Charvel DK24 has pretty high output passive pickups in there. They're not necessarily, they're not active pickups. I was about to say not necessarily active pickups, they're not active pickups. But the output of these is actually pretty like high gain. So I'm gonna make sure we're in tune here. Okay, we're in tune. I'm gonna turn the overdrive off for a second. Turn the output gain on here down to about 6 because it's not metalcore, right? We don't want to boost the amp too much. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'm going to put the master down to like 7. And I'm just going to boost the output on this by a couple of... Have a look at the output here just to kind of see where we're landing. I think we might be okay now. Okay, that's a little bit better. I was struggling with the volume. Okay, so I've got my different guitar, and I also made a couple of little tweaks here as well. I put the level down on the tube screamer down to 6. I also put the master down to 7, but I boosted the output on there. And I should probably look at the clean one as well. Yep, that sounds pretty good. Okay, so we've kind of played with the volumes a little bit now. I also probably will be putting an EQ in here too. Maybe I might do that now actually, because we're eventually going to need it, and we might put like a slight room reverb. I'm going to put a graphic 9 EQ in here. And straight up, we're going to drop like 2 decibels from the low end to reduce some muddiness. We're going to boost the 125 to support the low end, but without it becoming like too dominant. So we're probably going to do like 1 decibel increase here. We don't want to do any kind of too steep cuts on here. Just obviously with the low end at 65 we do, but... Okay, that sounds okay so far. For the 1K, we'll probably boost that up as well. That's going to enhance the mids a little bit. The 2K mark, that's good to bump up a couple because that's going to help with the attack and the articulation. And here, because it's a rhythm tone, we kind of want that. So at the 4K mark, maybe 1 dB. We'll hear how that sounds. Okay, the 1 dB definitely helps on that. At the 8K, we're going to drop that by about 1. It's going to prevent some harshness in the sound that I can hear is in there right now. You can hear it's like an AC/DC low gain tone now. That has kind of given us a really nice... It's a very low gain tone. It's crunchy. It's not like your typical high gain EVH 5153 tone that I would usually do for like, you know, metalcore or anything kind of heavy. You can actually hear it's not like super saturated, and you can hear in various parts where it's just a guitar. It definitely gives you that kind of better articulation and clarity in there, because the heavier you go, kind of you start to lose definition obviously in there. We're going to compare this to the song now. So keep in mind I'm not very good at playing it, but I think we could be there. Okay, that's pretty cool. I think that kind of gets us there. I don't know if it is a Marshall that's being used, but you can hear we have that, it's not super high gained, but it's gained enough that it kind of gets you that nice distortion in the rhythm. And you can hear if I play chords and stuff. Yeah, this would be great for AC/DC, even if you want to play AC/DC stuff. Obviously, Linkin Park and AC/DC are two different things, but I really like this. I think we could have spent a little bit more time on it and got it a little bit nicer. You could probably even drive up the gain just a little bit more. Keep it under 5, I think. In the intro, you could even play that just turning your guitar down if you wanted to as well. Pardon the sloppy playing, but the chorus is fantastic. Yeah, not bad for a quick tone and a string break midway, but let me know what you think, obviously, because what I hear and what you may hear are two different things, but I think largely for what we do here, we're not striving for perfection. The thing to remember as well is that we're comparing production-ready tone that's mixed with multiple guitars, it's mixed with bass, it's got the studio treatment, and we're replicating the studio sound. So it's a little bit tricky because if you were to actually get your hands on the stems for this album, I guarantee the guitars would probably not sound as great as they sound in the mix. And I find that's just true for a lot of things. You listen to things in isolation, they may not sound too great, but then you combine it all together, it's a symphony, and everything comes together and elevates. But you can kind of get there by listening with your ears and getting closer and just using kind of common sense knowledge of the genre as well. Like you can hear it's obviously that kind of, crunchy, slightly gained tone, not overly saturated. So that's your first clue, and then you kind of work your way back there. But yeah, great song, great return to form. I can't wait for the album to come out. It's probably already out by the time you're watching this, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the preset. Let me know in the comments if you've made any tweaks to it, if you would have done anything different. If you have a request that you'd like to see me do next time as well, please let me know in the comments, because I take requests for anything. I'm up for a challenge. I'll do anything, even country, whatever, it doesn't matter, as long as there's a guitar in it and I can hear what's going on. That's all I need, just my ears and a song. But yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in one of my other videos. Bye.